This is a round 1 question again. It's given that three persons A, B, and C who spends are in the ratio, whose speeds are in the ratio 3 is to 5 is to 7 respectively, started running simultaneously in the same direction from the same point on a circular track whose radius is 105 upon 2 pi. What is the absolute difference between the distance travelled by A and the distance travelled by C when all the three persons meet for the first time at any point on the track? Right, so we have a circular track. If radius is 105 by 2 pi, the circumference will come out to be 105 here simply. And we have three runners A, B, and C. Let's assume the speed of A is 3x meter per second. Speed of B is 5x meter per second, and speed of C is 7x meter per second. Right. So, how do we find that when all the three persons meet for the first time at any point of the circumference? If I say A and B will meet for the first time after how much seconds, right? So for A and B, the total distance covered is 105. If B has to meet A for the first time, he has to cover one round extra than A. That means using the relative speed concept, B has to cover 105 meter with the relative speed, that is 5x minus 3x, which will come out to be 105 by 2x. So after 105 by 2x seconds, A and B will meet for the first time, right? Similarly, if we calculate for B and C will meet after 105 by 7x minus 5x, that is again 105 by 2x seconds. So using this, I can say that A, B, and C will meet for the first time after the LCM of these two numbers, right? Which is nothing but 105 by 2x. So this is the time when all three meet for the first time at any point on the circumference. Now I need to find the distance traveled by A and distance traveled by C. So distance traveled by C is nothing but 7x, which is the speed of C, into time, which is 105 by 2x. So 7 into 105 by 2, and A will travel 3x into 105 by 2x, which is nothing but 3 into 105 by 2. And I need to find the difference of the distance traveled by these two persons. It will come out to be 7 into 105 by 2 minus 3 into 105 by 2. If I can take 105 by 2 common, it will become 7 minus 3, which is 4. So it's nothing but 210 kilometers, sorry. Right? So the option is option D. None of these. We have another approach for this question also. Speeds of A and B and C are in the ratio 3 is to 5 is to 7. Just see one concept here. If speed of A and B are in the ratio 3 is to 5, then the number of points on which they will meet on the circumference will be nothing but the difference of the simplest ratio of the speeds, which is 5 minus 3, that is 2. Right? So I can say that A and B will meet on 2 points on the circumference. One has to be the starting point and the other has to be the point diametrically opposite to it, because if the number of points of A and B is 2, there has to be equidistant, right? Similarly, ratio of B and C is 5 is to 7. So this is again 7 minus 5, that is 2. So B and C will also meet on 2 points, which is nothing but starting point and the diametrically opposite point. So using this, I can see that A, B and C, all three people will meet on these points only. Starting point and the diametrically opposite point, right? So that means, and we need to find for the first time, right? When all the three person meet for the first time. So that has to be this point only, right? So I need to find for this point, okay, that how many distance they have traveled, right? Using the speeds of the ratio of the speeds, I can see that A will cover 3 rounds, B will cover 5 rounds, and C will cover 7 rounds. But for first meeting, the number of rounds has to be something and half of the circumference. That is, it can be 0.5, it can be 1.5, it can be 2.5, 3.5, right? Number of rounds. So if I just divide by 2, I can see that when A covers 1.5 rounds, B will cover 2.5 rounds and C will cover 3.5 rounds, right? And this is the required numbers, that when A will cover 1 round plus half of the round, so it will be at this point. B will cover 2 rounds and then half again, it will be again at this point. And similarly, C will cover 3 rounds and the 0.5 rounds, which is again. So this is the distance, or this is the number of rounds traveled by A, B and C for the first meeting. So I can clearly see here that the difference of A and C, difference of distances traveled by A and C, is nothing but 3.5 minus 1.5, that is 2 rounds. And 2 rounds is nothing but 2 into 105, that is 210 kilometers.